Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Why 90-Day Fiancé's Bilal just doesn't understand Shaeeda. When Bilal Hazzi's from 90-Day Fiancé married Shaeeda Sween, he pretended to understand her, or so he thought. Bilal continues to miss the mark, and if he doesn't wise up, he is going to end up back in divorce court like he was with the mother of his children. It is clear that Shaeeda wants to have a baby. She even admitted to her best friend, Utress, on a recent episode of 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, that if she had to choose between a baby and Bilal, she would choose a baby. Bilal seems clueless about this. 90-Day Fiancé fans have compared Bilal's antics to those of Kanye West. While that might be a bit extreme, Bilal continues to think that he can smooth out the wrinkles in their marriage by taking Shaeeda on a helicopter ride in New York. While Shaeeda does enjoy these types of excursions, which can be seen on Bilal's Instagram video, they are not what she really wants or needs. She cannot fully commit to enjoying her life with Bilal until he fully commits to having a child with her before it's too late. Although Bilal did sign a prenuptial agreement which stated that he would get his wife pregnant before she was 40, a 3-year window, invested viewers of 90-Day Fiancé worry that Bilal is wasting Shaeeda's fertile years. The situation got even more pressing when Shaeeda and Bilal went to the doctor and found out that if she waits until she's 40, she will only have a 5% chance of getting pregnant. Now it seems like Bilal is hedging his bets, thinking he can stick to the contract and avoid having more kids. He thinks he can have his cake and eat it too. Bilal is blind to the fact that if he doesn't give his wife a baby, she is going to leave and find someone who will. With the clock ticking loudly in her ear, Shaeeda cannot wait too long. She gave Bilal an ultimatum that he had to commit to getting her pregnant within 9 months. However, as usual, Bilal refused to give Shaeeda a straight answer. In fact, he even said to the camera that he is confused as to why Shaeeda isn't happy because he is doing so much for her. He just doesn't get that there is really only one thing she wants, and the more he continues to dismiss her, the more resentful she is going to become. If Bilal did not want to have more children, he should have told Shaeeda that before she left her home country of Trinidad and Tobago and came all the way to the United States to marry him. Instead, he told her that he did want to add to his brood of 2, but that he was not in any hurry. Shaeeda married Bilal believing that they would be parents together, not because she made it up in her head, but because he promised her that they would. Bilal could take Shaeeda on a trip around the world and buy her a diamond as big as his ego, but she is not going to be happy until he sticks to his promise and gets her pregnant. The longer he waits, the lower the chances are that she will be able to achieve her dream. Bilal should consider himself lucky that Shaeeda did not take Utress' advice and get pregnant accidentally on purpose. 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, is laden with troubled couples this season. Shaeeda and Bilal may have a better chance than most of getting past their problems. The solution for them is so simple. There is no vast age difference or the need for a family's blessing. All Bilal has to do is keep his promise and understand that if he wants a happy wife, he cannot stall until Shaeeda is unable to conceive. She will see right through that and will likely resent him to the point of permanent marital destruction. In the latest season of 90-Day Fiancé, the dynamic between Bilal Hazzi's and Shaeeda Sween has sparked plenty of conversation. For many viewers, it's a relationship full of red flags, misunderstandings, and cultural clashes that are hard to ignore. Despite their love for each other, Bilal seems to be at a constant crossroads when it comes to truly understanding Shaeeda's needs and emotions. The roots of their struggles, however, aren't simply a matter of personality differences. They are deep-seated issues that involve their expectations, backgrounds, and a lack of real communication. Here's a closer look at why Bilal just doesn't seem to get Shaeeda, and why that may be the central issue of their relationship. 1. The clash of expectations. Shaeeda came to the United States with a very clear set of expectations about her future with Bilal. She believed their marriage would be built on mutual respect, trust, and shared goals. For Shaeeda, a major part of this was her vision of family life. She wanted to settle into a home, possibly have children, and make sure her relationship with Bilal flourished in a stable environment. However, Bilal, who had already been married once before, has a different perspective on what a relationship should look like, particularly when it comes to financial security and trust. Bilal's past experiences have led him to be cautious, almost to a fault. His first marriage ended in divorce, and he has some deep-rooted fears about being burned again. For him, security, both financial and emotional, comes before everything else. While this might seem practical to him, it comes across as cold and dismissive to Shaeeda. She sees him as overcomplicating their lives with his incessant focus on money and control, and it frustrates her that he doesn't seem to trust her enough to simply embrace their love for each other and the potential of their future. 2. Cultural disconnect. Bilal and Shaeeda's relationship also has its roots in a fundamental cultural divide. Shaeeda hails from Trinidad and Tobago, a place where family is paramount and where traditional gender roles often have a more significant influence on relationships. She is used to a more straightforward approach to love and marriage, where the bond is celebrated with passion and commitment without second-guessing. On the other hand, Bilal was raised in a more Americanized environment where relationships are often built on a mix of emotional connection and practical considerations. His meticulousness, perhaps stemming from his upbringing, is at odds with Shaeeda's desire for warmth and reassurance. Shaeeda wants a partner who leads with his heart, not his wallet, and it's clear that she's struggling to understand Bilal's emotionally guarded nature. While Bilal's pragmatic approach is shaped by his past experiences, Shaeeda sees it as an obstacle to their happiness. In her eyes, he's not embracing their love for what it is. It feels more like a business transaction. 3. The test incident. A major breakdown in communication. One of the most glaring moments in their relationship came when Bilal decided to test Shaeeda by showing up at her place in an old beat-up car and making her believe that his life was far from perfect. To Bilal, it was a way of gauging Shaeeda's love and commitment. He wanted to see if she would love him despite his lack of material wealth. But to Shaeeda, it felt like an insult. She was hurt, confused, and felt as though Bilal didn't trust her enough to understand her heart. Shaeeda is someone who believes in the genuineness of love, and this test hit her in a way that seemed unnecessary and cruel. This moment highlights Bilal's failure to truly understand Shaeeda's emotional needs. He thought his test was an innocent way to determine if their relationship was built on something more than just superficial attraction. However, for Shaeeda, it was a clear indication that Bilal didn't believe in their relationship enough to be honest with her from the start. His way of testing her love and commitment was not only misguided but ultimately hurtful. It showed Shaeeda that Bilal's trust issues were more deeply rooted than she had initially realized, and it made her feel like she was just another person being put through a trial to prove her worth. 4. Shaeeda's desire for emotional fulfillment. At the core of Shaeeda's frustration is her belief that a relationship should be based on emotional fulfillment. For her, love isn't just about stability or material wealth. It's about passion, connection, and intimacy. She wants to feel cherished and prioritized, and while Bilal claims to care for her, his actions don't always reflect that. In many ways, Bilal seems to overlook Shaeeda's need for affection and reassurance. His focus on practicality, on making sure they have the right house, the right savings, and the right future, isn't necessarily wrong, but it often drowns out the emotional connection that Shaeeda craves. He may think he's doing what's best for their future, but in Shaeeda's eyes, he's missing out on what truly matters: the emotional bond they share. Bilal's way of protecting the relationship by being overly cautious might be helpful in some ways, but it's ultimately keeping him from fully understanding what Shaeeda needs: to feel like she's more than just a responsibility, more than just a potential investment. She wants to feel loved, valued, and most importantly, understood. In many ways, Bilal's failure to provide this makes her feel alienated, as if she's constantly trying to prove herself to him, rather than simply living in the joy of their relationship. 5. Fear of vulnerability. Bilal's inability to connect with Shaeeda emotionally may also stem from his fear of vulnerability. Having been hurt in the past, he is incredibly cautious about opening himself up to anyone, including Shaeeda. He has put up walls to protect himself from future heartbreak, and this is something Shaeeda cannot relate to. While she sees their relationship as a chance to build something beautiful and lasting, Bilal views it through the lens of what might go wrong. This protective instinct has left Shaeeda feeling isolated and unappreciated, leading to a growing divide between them. Conclusion: the path forward. Ultimately, Bilal and Shaeeda's relationship is a classic case of two people with vastly different ways of approaching life and love. While Shaeeda is emotionally driven, Bilal is cautious and pragmatic. His need for control and security, born from past experiences, often conflicts with her desire for emotional closeness and trust. For them to succeed, they will have to bridge this gap, something that will require Bilal to open up and show more vulnerability, and Shaeeda to trust that his actions, no matter how cautious, come from a place of care. Until then, it's clear that Bilal just doesn't understand Shaeeda, not in the way that she wants and needs him to. And unless that changes, their relationship will remain mired in misunderstanding and missed opportunities for true emotional connection.